Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. In the last episode, we finally met Sakaki's father. Well, the main character didn't meet Sakaki's father, but we know who he is. He's a big shot. He ended up building the school, the facility of sorts. Still a little hazy on a lot of the details as to why the facility exists, why there's only a handful of members, and what's going on behind the scenes. We don't really know any of this. But I think the game is going to start finally picking up some story now. Finally ran into Sakaki here and try to kind of coax her to talk about her family. Let's continue. The ball is in Sakaki's court now.
そう。ならばそっとしておいて。話しかけないでちょうだい。
Don't worry, I didn't start the conversation last time either. Remember?
そうだったわね。
Sakaki breaks her sidelong glare in my direction, her gaze returning to the ground below. Since the dorm is only a 3-story building, the people below are clearly visible from our vantage point on the rooftop. Just now, the principal is leading a man in an expensive-looking dark gray suit and what seems to be his entourage in our direction. Sakaki parses her lips tightly. As the approaching figures draw closer, she pulls herself back from the edge of the roof just far enough that she can't be seen from the ground. Her placement clearly conveys her desire to observe and her absolute rejection of being observed in return. There's a voice from below. I casually glance towards the sound. The man in the expensive suit has a fake smile plastered across his face. His laughter is utterly hollow, to the point that it's actually physically unpleasant to hear. It's the forced laugh of a person who hasn't known real amusement in a very long time. Sakaki flinches at the sound. She opens her mouth ever so slightly, takes a few small breaths, then closes it again. Her sharp gaze is clearly focused on the man in the expensive suit. She watches the man fixedly as he struts along confidently next to the principal. It's the expression of someone sizing up an old and bitter enemy. But there's also something like sadness there. We haven't been formally introduced or anything, but it seems like it's safe to say that the man in the suit is her father, Sakaki Machiaki. Compared to the man in the pamphlet, he seems slightly scrawnier, but I'm willing to bet that that's just the result of some subtle photographic retouching by his PR people. Yumiko simply stares down at him in silence. Those aren't, or shouldn't be, the eyes of someone looking at their father. That said, they're not full of murderous rage either. Their eyes are just sad. Sad and empty.
これで一通り回りましたが。
At the principal's words, the group stops just a little distance from the dormitory.
ああ、ではこれで終わりにしよう。が、その前に。
He turns to his side, fixing the principal with a cold-eyed stare.
念のために聞くが、あれはアバンと言ってるんだろう？
はい。どうしてもと。
With a single irritated grunt, the chairman turns on his heel and begins to walk off. He strides towards the front gate with his party, exuding overbearing haughtiness to the end. He doesn't look back. Sakaki stares, unblinking, at his quietly retreating figure. There's no particular emotion on her face now. She simply watches until the end. When his distant figure reaches the school building and finally passes completely from view, Sakaki drops both hands to the iron rail, leans forward, and heaves a heavy sigh. She stays that way for a long time, looking straight down at the concrete beneath her feet. The sea breeze picks up after a long interruption. Salty air rushes past us from behind. Sakaki's long hair and school uniform flap noisily in the wind. When the gust dies down, there's a moment of perfect silence.
やっぱり何も聞かないのね。
Sakaki mutters a few words to the concrete beneath her feet. There's a hint of weakness in her voice. That's right. I offer a concise reply. I'm not tactless enough to poke my nose in other people's business out of mere curiosity. I think we've been over this. I'm not going to ask you anything, but if you have something you want to talk about, I'm willing to listen. I don't know what Sakaki really wants from me right now. But I think her words pretty clearly indicate that she was hoping I'd ask her something. Of course, that doesn't mean I now have free rein to barrage her with questions. That isn't why I'm here in the first place. Why won't you see your father? Is there a reason you're in this school? What exactly do you think about Sakaki Mikichiaki? There are plenty of things I'm interested in knowing, but it's not like dragging the answer out of her is going to change anything. If explaining things would offer Sakaki some relief, as her classmate, I'm willing to ask those questions. But as long as I don't know that for sure, throwing my curiosity at her would exceed good-natured meddling and land solidly in the territory of outright prying.
あなたの考えはよくわかったわ。
Sorry if you find my reasoning unpleasant. This is just my personality.
不快ではないわ。少なくともこれまで私の周りにいた人間とはあなたは違うみたいね。
From Sakaki's expression, I can understand she doesn't mean that in a negative way. The usual harsh, prickly aura of rejection seems to have softened somewhat.
私が話したいと思った時は聞いてくれるのかしら。
Like I just said, talk all you want. I'm not going to stop you.
そうね。
Sakaki pushes herself away from the railing and walks across to the door.
それじゃあまた。
Yeah. Sakaki's slender hand throws the door open with surprising firmness. As soon as she's inside, it closes solidly behind her. The wind picks up again, gusting strongly across the rooftop. A few stray grains of sand from the nearby beach blow into my face. I guess I'll head back myself. I'm not going to pretend to understand Sakaki right now. But if my arrival at this school, this dorm, my entrance into her life, can end up working to her advantage somehow, I think I'd like to make that happen. Simple as that. Right now, the fact that I'm living with this carefree, peaceful life fills me with all guilt. It's a burden I carry with me every waking moment. If I can lighten that load of self-condemnation slightly by doing some half-assed pseudo-counselor volunteer work, then there's something in it for me as well. Of course, the way I'm thinking about this in such a calculating, mercenary way adds a whole new layer of guilt on top of it all. And on second thought, I don't know if I should be counseling anyone. Slowly descending the stairs, I muttered quietly to myself, sinking deeper into a Sunday afternoon melancholy that has nothing to do with the approaching work week. I continue my little soliloquy for some time. July 4th. Happy Independence Day. Early afternoon on a clear, ferociously hot summer day. Even in our air-conditioned classroom, the temperature is pushing 90 degrees. Amane slumps forward over her desk, panting, her tongue lolling out of her mouth. She resembles nothing so much as a broken-down old dog tied up in the sun.
夏なんてなくなっちゃえばいいのに。
今日は特に暑いね。あんまり暑いといろいろなものが膨張するのよさ。
なんで私を見る？
アマネーは暑い国で生まれたの？なんかこう恐竜的な意味合いで。
私の体が大きいのは暑さ関係ないから。むしろ 寒い国の生き物の方が巨大化するという話を聞いたことがありますけど。
おお、マンモス的な意味合いでな。
いや、だからさ。
Amane grew big because she has a healthy appetite. Plain and simple. Just this morning I saw her pop mucking his leftovers into her mouth. Don't think she even knew she was doing it.
それはだって残したらもったいないし。
アマネってさ、子供の頃は意外と肥満児だったりしたんじゃない？
いや、そうでもないよ。確かに背は子供の頃から高い方だったけど、昔はガリガリに痩せてたし。
本当に？
って言いながら私のウエストをつかむのやめなさい。このいい具合にちょこっと余ってるお肉がマニアックですよね。少し羨ましいです。
昔はガリガリに痩せてたのに、なんで今はそんなにむっちりしてるわけ？
一時期さ、ろくなもの食べてない時があって、それ以来体質が変わったみたい。
ダイエットでもしてたの？
ダイエットっていうか、まあ似たようなもんかな。とにかくさ、ご飯を食べないでいたら栄養失調で死にかけてね。そしたら体がどんどん栄養を蓄えるようになっちゃったのよね。普段通りに食べてても1ヶ月で7キロも太ったことがあってびっくりしたわよ。
でも言うほど太ってないわよね。
運動と食事制限してるからだよ。やめたらブクブク太るよ、多分。
その話詳しく聞かせていただこうかしら。
何？あんた太ったの？だからあんたはまずインスタントをやめなさいよ。夜中に小腹が空いたからってカップ焼きそばとか食べるから太るのよ。
別にそれほど太ったというわけでは。
ずいよ。つうかちゃんとエアコン動いてるの？もう夏なんてノーなってまえばええのに。もうして夏ボケ
はあ、アマネが壊れていく。
The heat only gets you because you lack willpower. So take a nice long run outside and I bet you'll feel a lot cooler.
またそうやってデタラメを言う。
でも確かに風見さんは先ほどから一滴も汗をかいていません。サイボーグなのですか？
I've spent plenty of time in hotter climates. A heat wave like this doesn't bother me at this point. It's all about getting yourself accustomed to it. If you run outside in the summer and get your body temperature up, after a while you won't be breaking a sweat in heat like this. Of course, I'm speaking from experience.
それが俺のルールだでしょ。あんたの言うことってデタラメなのにやけに本当っぽくて試してみたくなるだけに厄介なのよね。
私ちょっと走ってこようかな。
ほら見なさいよ。頭の弱い子がすぐ真似したがるんだから変なこと言わないの。
What, did I say something weird? Turn around, search for support, but no one makes eye contact. You've let me down, everyone. Is this the bystander effect at work?
まあ確かにこれだけ暑いとアマネじゃなくてもだれるわね。海にでも行って泳ぎたい感じ。
海？
何よ、あんた海知らないの？
海が何なのかは知ってるし、見たことはあるけど泳いだことはないのよさ。
ああ、そういえば昔私と榊さんとみちるで海に行ったことあったわよね。
I think I know where this is heading. Field trip.
そうね。苦い思い出だわ。
ちょっとあんたは全然マシだったじゃない。一番ひどい目にあったのは私よ。
楽しかったな。
There seems to be something of a divergence of opinion on that.
いいえ、海は楽しかったのは事実よ。 あの旅行のおかげで私たちの微妙な距離感が埋まったと言えなくもないわ。
冗談じゃないわよ。私は未だに夢に見るぐらいひどい目にあったのよ。
何があったのよさ。
筆舌には託しがたいわね。実際に経験するまでは何を聞いても正確には理解できないでしょうね。そこまで言われると逆に興味が湧きますね。
よし、今度みんなで海行こうか。学園長に車出してもらってさ。
I don't mind, but doesn't that car only see 5? Sakaki, Machiro, Amane, Makina, Sachi, and me. There's 6 students alone. And presumably the principal would be coming along as well. There's no way we'd all fit.
じゃあ他の車も借りて2台で行こうよ。
What? A rental car or something?
学園の備品でいいじゃん。環境整備棟の車庫に1台あるから、あれを借りよう。
Is that really something they're gonna loan to us?
前にも何度か借りたことあるし、大丈夫でしょ。手配しておくよ。
Borrowed. Assuming you're probably using that in a very lax way. Okay. But who's gonna drive?
大丈夫。私、普通車の免許持ってるし。
I'm riding with the principal. You do?
まあ、任せろ。
Amane cheerfully thumps her chest in confidence. Our 2 younger classmates rejoice energetically, but Sakaki and Michiru are strangely silent. The looks on their faces concern me slightly.
楽しみだね。
当日はお弁当なのでしょうか。それとも現地でバーベキューというのもいいですね。
That's a pretty spur-of-the-moment plan, born out of nothing more than Amane's desire to escape the heat. But since we all have some people looking forward to it now, I guess we might as well make it happen, right? But for us to take a group of strips to a suitable beach is probably going to require something in the way of official permission. Specifically, the principal of our school, Tachibana Chizuru, will have to be on board. I'm sure she'll have some resistance to the idea of a group of her potentially unstable students running around outside, but I've got a feeling she'll agree if we take her along as a chaperone. My guess would be that she won't object too strongly. It's not like she has anything better to do with her time, right? Right? Right. Alrighty, everybody. That's it for this episode. I will see you all next time on The Fruit of Grisaia. Take it easy.